Run on less. Our friends from NACFE have been joining us over the course of the last couple of months. Really great information, by the way. Mike Roth has been terrific, filling us in on what's going on, what's going down. But I thought we'd go to the heart of the matter. So did they, by the way. That was kind of more their idea than mine. But when they suggested it, I thought it was terrific. I'd like to introduce you to Jeff Seger, by the way. He's a clean energy consultant over at Wegmans. He actually works for a company that started in 1916. And you know them. You've seen them. They got over 50,000 employees. Good morning to you, Jeff. How you doing, man?
Hi, Dave. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. I'm doing great. Thank you.
It's
How
really,
about yourself?
I'm really good actually. Lindsay Lawler and I just spent the last couple of days in Austin, Texas. It was our first remote broadcast. We're back here in the Fastport Studios in the heart of the Crescent City of New Orleans, less than 6 blocks away from where Dave Nemo started this whole idea of trucking radio. So I'm having a really good morning. You got any plans for this weekend before we kind of dig into all the stuff that's been going on?
Well, this is probably not a good weekend or week to ask me that. I've got a little surgery I'm going to have later today, so I'm going to just kind of take it easy and hopefully recover quickly.
Well, best of luck with that, by the way. And we've got a couple of
Thank you.
drivers and listeners out there, one of whom, Hazmat, drives tankers, who just had knee surgery, by the way, and is in the midst of a hopefully positive recovery. So we're rooting for you, and we're thinking about you.
Thank you.
Let's dig into this, by the way. Let's kind of get started. Talk about run on less,
Absolutely.
and then we can pivot into the particulars of what you guys found out from your particular POV.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And so I actually am a part of the NACFE team and was fortunate enough to visit Wegmans. And as you mentioned, we're doing this run on less messy middle. And run on less messy middle is we're looking at many different fleets that have different powertrains ranging from they'll be running renewable diesel to battery electric vehicle to hydrogen fuel cell to natural gas. And I'm part of the natural gas team. And we visited Wegmans in early June, and it was very exciting. Wegmans, as you mentioned, it's over a 100-year-old company. They've got over 50,000 employees. They've got about 110 stores, and they operate in the Northeast area, I think from about North Carolina up to Boston. And I was really excited to see them, and I'll share more with you about this natural gas vehicle if you'd like me to go down that path.
I really would, and really quickly to kind of put things in perspective. Wegmans started before America's involvement in World War One. That's how long Wegmans has been around, to kind of give people perspective on that. Yeah, let's talk about what you made your discoveries in regards to being embedded with Wegmans and kind of getting a really up close look at this stuff.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So what I took away was really surprised, or really impressed in that their commitment to sustainability and making it work economically. Today, they are 76% non-diesel. Most of that is natural gas. They do have a few yard spotters that are electric trucks, but 76% non-diesel, and they have a goal to be 100% non-diesel in 2026. So a real commitment to sustainability. What we looked at was we're monitoring a Peterbilt 567 truck. It's got the new X15N in it and a Allison transmission. It's got 175 diesel gallon equivalent tank on it. So that truck is equipped to probably run 700 to 800 miles without refueling. The Wegmans route, they run, this truck's going to be running from Rochester to Albany, New York, and that's about a 530-mile round trip. And, we were able to talk to the drivers. We were there filming and seeing some of the features about the truck, and it was just really a great experience, and to see how a company like them can use natural gas and make it work for them.
I was kind of curious too, because you talk about the idea of a 500 plus overall route, and the idea is that sometimes it's very easy to create a Potemkin village or to do something in a very, very short span and be like, see, it works. This is kind of is that kind of the baseline for how you guys look at this stuff? The idea that is there a certain mile marker where you go, okay, we can get a real sense of whether this thing works or not. Are you following me?
Yeah, I'm following you, and yeah, it sure is. I mean, we look at many things. I guess I'd like to talk about their load and their route as well, because as you know, it's not just miles. So they're hauling two or double 48 trailers. Some of the time they got 130, 140,000 pounds that they're hauling. Matter of fact, I think this route does that a lot, and they're able to make it all in one thing. So I think load is certainly a part of that. That terrain, as you know, is hilly as well. I think they get about an 800-foot elevation change. So that's clearly it. We spoke to the driver. We spoke to the whole crew, but the driver is really an advocate of the natural gas trucks. He's been driving the 12-liter natural gas truck for some time. Originally, there were shift problems and some performance problems, but between Cummins and the transmission supplier, they got those worked out. And now this 15-liter, they say it drives just like a diesel. So the 15 natural gas truck is driving just like a diesel. And so, you ask about, is it just miles? It's also load, it's performance, and they're really pleased with how it's going.
I want to point out something else, too, for our listeners. If you notice that he actually talked about some of the issues and problems that had to be worked out. This program is not a PR. This program is an actual in-depth look about how this works and how it can be made to work, with them making tweaks along the way and you kind of tracking that progress. That's a really important thing, too, because if you guys are simply out there rah-rahing this isn't going to work. You really have to make sure that the problems and issues get discussed, because when they get fixed, that's the cause for celebration, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And NACFE is, we're trying to help the industry, but we're unbiased, and we look at technologies, and we try to help fleets in the industry with this. And certainly we're not going to promote anything, but we will talk about what's working well and what isn't working well. But my take on this was this thing's working pretty decently.
And I have a kind of an off-site question, but I think it relates to the other stuff we have to kind of cover today. One of the great things is, as a reporter who used to be embedded with organizations on convoys and a whole bunch of other stuff, you get a real sense of people's culture there, their culture of adjustment. Can you talk a little bit about being close to Wegmans and getting an up-close chance to see what they do? You talk about the load and all the other stuff too. What did you notice in regards to the culture making a comment on the technology that they're using?
A very good question. And so I think I want to first start out by saying, just a very good kind of family spirit at Wegmans. And they mentioned everybody, calls each other by their first name and those kind of things. But for me, a couple of words came up. One was sustainability, and the other one was technology. On the sustainability side, just their commitment to natural gas, I think, shows that. But the other thing I'd like to mention is these natural gas trucks that they're running are running on 100% renewable natural gas. And I don't know if the audience is familiar with that, but that's like landfill and dairy waste and things like that. And I mean, that's actually, very good for the environment to run off of renewable natural gas. So these trucks are running that way, and you can see that in Wegmans in terms of sustainability. The other part of their culture I'd like to call out is technology, and interestingly, I'll say from making furniture to sophisticated control systems on trucks. And what I mean by that is, before the day started, they walked us through their corporate office, and they got a shop where they make the furniture, the stands, and the displays for their grocery displays and things like that. So you can see, they just have kind of built this business up from ground and from innovative standpoint. The driver talked about the technology on the truck, and this thing is just loaded with a lot of stuff. It's got ADAS, autonomous driver assisted things, so you can tell if you're getting out of a lane or if you're getting too close to another truck or something like that. It's got all of that. It's got all these cameras and radar and stuff like that. And that was really one of the things that the driver mentioned, technology, and he likes these Peterbilt trucks and the technology on them, and just the feel is really good.
It's interesting to me too, because as somebody, and by the way, I've done a lot of things in my life, having worked in grocery stores, having worked in areas like that, is that the people who sit behind the wheel of those trucks have to be very, very, almost a jack of all trades and a master of the wheel, because they have to kind of know all points in regards to all the stuff you've talked about. They're very familiar with the setups. They're very familiar with their carrying and all that kind of stuff. And now we're asking these drivers more and more to begin to deal with the products that you guys are testing, the ones that people are looking at and making a deep study of. In regards to your relationship with the drivers, what did you find in regards to their adjustments to the new technology and their adjustments and their likability of what they're now driving?
Yeah, I think well, they're humans like all of us, right? And I think change is always difficult, right? And I think they mentioned early on, and I think we're probably going back several years. There was some reluctance to drive a natural gas vehicle, and even at that time, I think there were some positives, but some negatives. The negatives were the performance problems. There were some shift problems, and there were some reliability problems. But the positives are, and I think this has been true with all the natural gas vehicles, is you don't have the smell or the odor of diesel. So you come home and your clothes, you smell like you maybe went to the office rather than in a lot of diesel fuel and stuff like that. They see that they say that the engine is a little bit quieter with the natural gas. So I think they've shifted from maybe somewhat being reluctant and seeing some problems to now they're real advocates. And the driver we spoke to, he doesn't want to go back to the older trucks. He doesn't want to go back to the diesels. He wants to drive these newer trucks, which have the 15-liter diesel in them.
Let me ask you too in regards to what we got a few moments here, by the way, left. Jeff Seger joins us, by the way. He was taking a hard, close look for NACFE at Wegmans. But what do you feel like when we get to September the 8th? What are you looking for? Where are we headed? And what are you hoping to see next? Because it sounds like a lot of progress has been made already.
Yeah. Yeah, great question. And that's going to be really exciting. One of your questions was, do we promote technology or companies or things like that? And we don't. And one of the things I wanted to mention was we're going to have a dashboard, and that's one of the things I really like about Run on Less. If you go to www.runonless.com, actually today you'll start seeing some of these profiles, and Wegmans will be posted. But come September 8th, whenever we do the run, these trucks are going to be running the real operation. So like I said, this one's going to be going from Rochester to Albany, and we'll be monitoring that. We'll have a dashboard. We've got a guy that does our IT, and we've got a dashboard looking at all of these vehicles and these different powertrains. So, this one's natural gas, so we'll be looking at, fuel usage versus mileage and the route and things like that. You can click to another fleet that might be running a battery electric vehicle, and you can see, how the state of charge is it being charged, how many miles they're running. You can go to the diesel and see how that's running. So these trucks will all be running. There's various routes in real world applications, and we'll be posting, what's happening, but you'll be able to go to this dashboard as well and see how they're performing. And it's just for nerds and geeks like us who like data, there's just a lot of data that we'll be looking at both real time as well as offline and seeing how they're performing.
Jeff, we've only got a few moments left here. Is there anything else that you feel like we didn't get a chance to cover when we're talking about Run on Less and talking about Wegmans that you feel like we have to touch on?
I think we've covered the key points. I mean, the whole thing of Run on Less is seeing these in real-time applications, seeing the real engines, seeing the real vehicles running in the routes. We're all interested in the environment and seeing the different types of powertrains, and all of them have pros and cons in terms of emissions and fuel economy and things like that. And I think Run on Less just does a great job. And I'd encourage everybody to go right now to that website, www.runonless.com, look at it, and I think everybody will get a good feel for what we do and what's happening in terms of technology in the trucking industry.
Jeff, I can't thank you enough for making time for us on this freaky, feisty, flinty, and really fun Friday, and especially with the fact that you got some stuff to take care of this weekend. We're wishing you the best, and we're thinking of you, by the way, man. Thank you so much for making time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Have a nice weekend.
You got it too. And by the way, I realized at the beginning, Madison, what I was saying. I said for, not with. Jeff doesn't work for Wegmans. He works with. Michael, what did I say wrong? And then I realized what it was. Okay.